Hey guys, this is actually part 3 of a series. Make sure to check out part 1 and 2. The link will be up in the icon above and in the description below. Make sure to check those out before you watch this one. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Devin. This is my brother Aiden.
Yeah, hey, what's up guys?
Today we're going to just be chatting about what it was like when my brother had COVID-19.
Yeah. It feels good to be engaged.
So despite it being so long since we actually filmed this video, I still want to encourage you to watch this now. There are still many relevant points that Aiden and I discuss and look at that still apply now, because at the end of the day we're still in the middle of COVID. COVID is still a very, very real thing and something that we're still dealing with in many ways, and the things that we talk about in this video, part 3 specifically, still apply today and still are important to keep in mind today. So we speak about some things that were there during level 2. We're now in level 1, so things are different there, but the principle of certain things still apply, and there are certain things that still are good words of wisdom and good points to still hold to now.
You know, I think moving forward there's going to be a lot of change, but where we are now, there's so much time to be leveraged. There's a new way of doing life that we need to get used to, but leverage to the full. You know, the world hasn't stopped running, it's just looked a bit different, and we can't get left behind. I think it's important.
Yeah. And I think that kind of fits into the next thing that I wanted to actually speak to you about is the idea of what do we do now? How do things look at the moment going forward? You know, life is looking different now, but I've noticed 2 extremes. The 2 extremes that people are living with currently is the people who are feeling like this is unaffected, like they are unaffected, that nothing intense is happening.
Yeah, there's just now this inconvenience of I have to wear a mask.
Exactly.
Really?
Or even some people who don't even wear masks. Like,
exactly.
You know, they get shut down at the door of a shop because they're like, no, you're not wearing a mask. And then the other extreme of a complete fear of COVID. And those 2 places are, I feel they both have their dangers. I personally feel there should be a middle ground.
Yeah.
What do you think that middle ground should look like?
So I think first of all, what the government is advocating and what the government is asking us to do is what we should always be abiding in.
Yeah.
So I think anything that goes outside of that, I would say stay away from.
Yeah.
But within the gazetted regulations, within all of that stuff, there are still ways to do life.
Yeah.
You know, I think the last thing that we should do is in that extreme example is completely deny your life.
Yeah.
You know, but on the other extreme, there is an irresponsibility to doing certain things. And so I think the middle ground would be to say, okay, I'm allowed to go to a restaurant, let me have a coffee break with someone, but still practice social distancing.
100%.
You know, if you are in a restaurant, there's obviously standards that they have to obey, and so still practice that. Be extreme. So
practice sanitation. Sanitation is key in this.
Sanitizing,
yeah. Oh yeah. Whoops. That's a whole nother industry.
Although sanitation is still a good thing, so let's still do that, guys. Let's not neglect that either.
Fair enough.
You know, so it plays a role, and I think you know, at the beginning of lockdown and globally, there was this like explosion of conspiracy theories and people like, no, this is just that the government that made this thing, and you know, hand sanitizer is going to burn your hands off over time. Like, we need to practice discernment, I think. You know, like there's a reason we sanitize, and it's good, it's fine. Yes, your hands might get a bit dry, but there is hand lotion for that. You know, the masks might be uncomfortable, but we just need to practice wearing them and get a mask that's comfortable. If your mask is uncomfortable, I've got a little pimple on my nose because of my mask. And so I've recently changed to surgical ones that pinch on the side, not the top.
Mask acne is real, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So little things like that, I think it's important to adopt it, but find the normal.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, there is a new reality we're living in. So you mentioned the new normal. With the level that we're at now, and you know, vaccines, we don't know exactly when they're going to come out. We don't know when there's going to be a full-on like attack on COVID. At the moment, we don't have that. So there is a level where what we're living now is a reality that we've got to face, and to stay fearful
means that you're giving the new reality power over you, and to stay in a place where you're like, oh no, I'm not going to wear my mask, you're not accepting the new reality. You know, like you said, I really like what you said. There's still life in everything, and there's a reason the government has opened places like golf courses, you know, those kind of places. There's places like the Lion and Rhino Park, where you can go in a car with your family and go and have a look at things. There are things to do, but as long as you are responsible in those spaces, and as long as you stick to what the government has put in place, because they put it in place for our protection.
Yeah.
So stay in the space of sanitizing, make sure to wear your mask in public. It's for our benefit, but at the same time, it's not something we need to be fearful of and afraid to step into.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think we can very easily be robbed of a lot of things. You know, humans are emotional beings. Humans need connection.
Yeah.
And so I think a reason Zoom fatigue is a thing is because that human connection, there's an illusion of it.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Yeah.
And that's why Zoom fatigue has crept in. That's why people aren't doing things online. That's why people are overwhelmed with the digitalness of how we've had to connect.
Yeah.
And so I think where we are allowed to, I would advise it to get back to connection. If your church is open to have people in, attend a service once a month. If you're still worried about COVID, you know, practice social distancing.
Yeah.
Go keep it to an infrequent amount. But I would recommend I would recommend you to go and do it.
Yeah.
You know, go to those restaurants where you can meet with one or two people and practice regulations. Stay safe, but have that connection.
Yeah.
You know, last night we had our first live youth at our church, and the difference between reading a comment section and connecting with kids through a camera, immediately what I learned from last night is there was this real genuine connection, and I promise you it felt different.
Yeah.
Corporate worship was awesome.
Yeah.
It's things that as human beings and even as Christians, there's a weight to it. There's an emotional, psychological, and spiritual weight to meeting in person.
Yeah. Be responsible in it. Don't now go and have a braai with 50 people at your house. Like, you know, that's being irresponsible. But at the same time, be aware that you are taking a risk by doing something. So if you do start to feel symptoms, act on it. But don't be afraid to take that risk. It's a risk worth taking for your own mental and physical well-being. Like it's good for us.
Yeah, I think it's also just important, you know, if you jump at every opportunity to go out, I would be careful to do that as well.
Yeah.
You know, you need to practice discernment, like what is good for my soul? What is necessary here? You know, do I need to meet with that person? Maybe not. I'll meet with somebody who I'm closer with, or somebody who I know, you know, it might look a bit different. And so I would be careful to jump at everything, but it's important to at least engage with people in some aspect.
Yeah. How would you say having had COVID has affected your view on what we can do now?
I think, you know, I mean, I went shopping and I got it.
Yeah. It's something normal.
So I'm like, okay, flip, shopping looks different now.
Yeah.
You know, when I go shopping, so I've gone to the shop since, and it looks different because I think that, you know, the day that I went clothes shopping, and so I was going through, you know, I was in the shops for quite a while. I was going through like what you call it, hangers and stuff. I was, you know, picking shirts, and so I was very interactive with what I was touching and everything. And yes, I regularly sanitized and I was very careful. I was wearing my face mask the whole time, and I stayed away from people. While I did all those things, I still ended up getting it. So now, going shopping, I'm much more careful to, like, almost like I walk with my hands behind my back, and I don't touch anything. I only reached for the things that I need to, you know, so opposed to, you know, choosing a new deodorant and picking them all up and trying them, and, you know, it's now a thing of, you know what, just any, mini, miny, mo. Go for the one and don't touch anything else.
It becomes like a game of chess. You touch, you take.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's important that we still do that, you know, to waste time at shops to go in, you know, and loiter around. You know, window shopping, I think it's less of a thing now. I advise you guys to not waste time lingering around, because things hang in the air, things are on surfaces. And so rather just go in, go out. You know, go in, have that cup of coffee with that friend, and don't sit and chat at the car with your mask off. Like, that's negligent, and that's not something we should do. So I'm advocating going into what we're allowed to do and leveraging it to make sure that for your soul you're being fed and you're being nourished, but in the same breath, everything that we are supposed to do and called to do as like the social responsibilities, those still have to be in place.
100%.
All the regulations, face masks, whatever it is, whatever the place that you're at is asking of you, abiding. It's important.
Discernment, I think, is a big word there.
Yes.
Discernment is the big word there.
Alright guys, that is a wrap to our series. It has been so much fun to be on the channel. I've really enjoyed it. So Dave, thank you very much for having me. I hope that you guys enjoyed the videos. Be sure to watch them all to make sure you know and are informed about what we've been chatting about. If you guys enjoyed this series, be sure to give Dave a subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified about any upcoming videos. It's been a good time, guys.
If you guys have any questions at all, chuck them down in the comments. We're always happy to make another video and get to some of your questions. I know there's some things that we didn't chat about now that we didn't even think of to chat that you guys might. So feel free to chuck those down there and we'll get to those when and how we can. Otherwise, guys, we love you guys. Stay safe and God bless. Two things quickly.
Troy and Abed in the morning.